Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint. Explanation. Good morning, children. I'm sure all of you are keeping fine at home, and I'm sure you have enjoyed listening to the story of Robinson Crusoe. Let's now go to the explanation of this lesson. Here are some more pictures of Robinson Crusoe Island, which is located in Chile, that is South America. People go to this place for tourism. They enjoy their time in Robinson Crusoe Island. Let's now read this lesson. Listen carefully. Robinson Crusoe's ship had been destroyed by the sea. He had been alone for many years and longed for company. One day, he discovers a footprint on the sand. Let's find out what he did then. One day, when I was going towards my boat, I was surprised to see the footprint of a man on the sand. I stood amazed. I listened. I looked around me. I could neither hear nor see anything. I went up higher to look down. I went up the shore and down the shore, but it was no good. I could find no other footprint but that one. I went to it again to see if there were any more footprints and to tell if it had been my imagination. But I was not mistaken, for there was exactly the print of a foot, toes, heel, every part of a foot. I could not imagine how it came there. I stayed a long time thinking, but became more and more confused. At last, I returned home very frightened, looking behind me after every 2 or 3 steps, mistaking every bush and tree to be a man. When I came to my cave, which I called my castle, I ran inside it as if I was being chased. I do not remember whether I used the ladder or went in by the hole in the rock, which I called the door. I ran for cover faster than any animal could run. One day, when I was going towards my boat, I was surprised to see the footprint of a man on the sand. So this is said by Robinson Crusoe because he writes a journal, as you know. He would write his story. So he speaks about his life events. One day, when I was going towards my boat, so Robinson Crusoe had made a boat to go around the island. I was surprised to see the footprint of a man on the sand. You can see a footprint here on the sand. What is a footprint? Footprint is an impression of the foot on a surface. It could be on the sand, on the ground, anywhere. So if you leave a mark on the surface by your foot, it is called a footprint. I stood amazed. I listened. I looked around me. So when Robinson Crusoe saw this footprint, he stood amazed. Look at the expression. This is the expression of amazement. What is the meaning of amazed? Greatly surprised. Greatly surprised. So Robinson Crusoe was greatly surprised to see the footprint of a man on the sand. What did he do then? I listened. I looked around me. So now let's also learn to use the word amazed in a sentence. The tourists were amazed to see the Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is a beautiful ancient building. So the tourists were amazed to see the Taj Mahal. So Robinson Crusoe was amazed to see the footprint on the sand. I could neither hear nor see anything. So what's the meaning of neither nor? Neither, N-E-I-T-H-E-R, neither is a word that is used along with nor, N-O-R, nor, neither nor. These words are used with sentences that have got negative meaning. For example, I could not hear is a negative sentence, something with a no meaning in it. I could not hear. I could not see. So two negative sentences are joined using neither nor. I could neither hear nor see anything. Neither nor are words that are used to join two negative sentences. Example, neither Rohan nor Shyam went to the party, which means Rohan did not go to the party, Shyam did not go to the party. To join these sentences into one, neither and nor are used. Neither Rohan nor Shyam went to the party. Here Robinson Crusoe says, I could neither hear nor see anything. That means he was not in a position to hear or see anything because he was so surprised, he was so shocked for words that he could not see or hear anything that was happening around him. I went up higher to look down. I went up the shore and down the shore, but it was no good. So Robinson Crusoe started running frantically up and down the island, up and down the shore to see if there are more footprints. I could find no other footprint but that one, only one footprint. I went to it again to see if there were any more footprints and to tell if it had been my imagination. So sometimes he had a doubt. Did I imagine things? Did I really see things? So things like that. What is the meaning of imagination? He doubted whether it was his imagination. Imagination is the ability of the mind to create mental images. So all of us have got the ability to imagine things. That means our minds create mental pictures of things that we think about or hear about. For example, recently I told you the story of Robinson Crusoe. None of you have seen Robinson Crusoe. We have not visited Robinson Crusoe Island, nor we have seen a shipwreck. But when I narrated the story, I am very sure that all of you who have been listening very carefully had your own pictures in your mind. You could really see the shipwreck. You could really see an island in your mind, a place that you have never seen. You could really see Robinson Crusoe on the island making pots, making various instruments, tools, etc. You could see how Robinson Crusoe lived on the island. This is because your ability to imagine things. So all of us have got the power of imagination, the ability of the mind to create mental image. So Robinson Crusoe thought, maybe this could be my imagination that I have seen a footprint. Maybe no one had come there. It is my imagination that I have seen a footprint. So he went to see it again and again. But I was not mistaken. So this was not a mistake from my part. For there was exactly the print of a foot. Toes, heel and every part of a foot. So Robinson Crusoe was shocked again because when he looked at it more and more, he could see the part of a foot in it. Can you see the part of a foot here? It had toes. Toes are the fingers on the leg. So the toes were there and the heel. You know what is a heel? From the lesson My Shadow, you have seen what a heel is. Heel is the rounded portion of your foot at the back. So here is the heel. And so this footprint had toes and heel and every part of a foot. I could not imagine how it came there. So here are the toes and here is the heel. I stayed a long time thinking, but became more and more confused. He was so confused. He could not understand how that footprint came there. At last, I returned home very frightened, looking behind me after every 2 or 3 steps. So while going back to his home, he was looking behind him after every 2 or 3 steps. He would walk for 2 or 3 steps, then he looked he would look behind, mistaking every bush and a tree to be a man. So when he saw trees and bushes, he thought, yeah, there is a man hiding there. So he had this fear, so he thought every bush and tree to be a man. So he had mistaken every bush and tree to be a man. And so he really went home frightened. When I came to my cave, which I called my castle, I ran inside it. So when he reached the castle, when he reached his cave, he ran inside it. This cave he had called a castle. What's the meaning of castle? Castle is a medieval fort. Now the story takes place in 1600s. Those days in England, there used to be kings and lords who used to live in castles. Their homes were known as castles. It was a building, a huge building with thick walls. So this is a picture of a castle. So castle is a large building with thick walls, towers, etc. So Robinson Crusoe called his home his castle. Then I do not remember whether I used the ladder or went up in by the hole in the rock. He had two ways of getting into his cave. One was by using a ladder. So in another route was through a hole in the rock. There was a big rock behind the house and there was a hole in that. Through the hole in the rock he could get into the cave. He couldn't even remember how he got inside the cave after seeing the footprint. Whether he jumped over the fence or whether he went through the hole in the rock, he did not know. He couldn't remember because that frightened he was. I ran for cover faster than any animal could run. So he ran for cover. Running for cover means to run for protection, for shelter. How did he run? Faster than any animal could run. He was very fast out of fear. So if you are frightened, you would run very fast. All of you know from your experience. So it is said that Robinson Crusoe ran inside the cave as if he was being chased. What's the meaning of getting chased? To get chased means, or to chase means to follow someone quickly to catch them. We have seen dogs chasing cats, or somebody who runs behind the other person to catch. We call it chase. So Robinson Crusoe ran as though he was being chased, as though someone was following him to catch him. So let's use this word in a sentence. My dog likes chasing cats. So dear children, read the passage many times till you are able to read it fluently. Now let's learn some new words of the day. Amaze, A-M-A-Z-E, amaze. Castle, C-A-S-T-L-E, castle. Chased, C-H-A-S-E-D, chased. Imagination, I-M-A-G-I-N-A-T-I-O-N, imagination. Footprint, F-O-O-T-P-R-I-N-T, footprint. Toes, T-O-E-S, toes. Learn these words and their meanings. Now let's try to answer these questions. What made Robinson Crusoe think that the print on the ground was a footprint? The footprint was exactly the print of a foot with toes, heel and every part of it. This made Robinson Crusoe think that the print on the ground was a footprint. Why was Robinson Crusoe afraid when he looked at the bushes and trees? Robinson Crusoe was afraid to look at the bushes and trees because he mistook every bush and tree as a man. Thank you.